What's up, guys? Welcome back to the build vlog. Today we're going to be tearing down the 5-cylinder and trying to figure out why it died. So that's at ride height, and that's literally what it started out as. This is a 4-wheel drive Z85, which is the same as the 2-wheel drive Z71, effectively, that this started out as. So you guys can see the actual height difference between the two trucks. And yes, that's the same truck that was in the intake video, and we got about 75,000 miles on that intake. Pretty crazy. Still hasn't cleaned the throttle body, or hasn't needed to. So a couple years ago, 3 years now, almost to this week, this thing literally just started rod knocking and stalled on me on the freeway. No warning, no nothing. So I'm concerned that oil was being consumed, that I didn't know it. I was running synthetic at the time. As you guys saw in the last 2 videos ago, when we pulled the or checked the oil, it wasn't really flowing at all. Granted, it was like 27 or 28 degrees outside, so I don't know if that had any factor on it. Sitting here in my garage for the last couple weeks, it's been leaking out the oil filter, so I don't remember it having a leak anywhere under the truck, so that's kind of odd. But I wanted to tear this down today and see why it failed. So let's get the transmission taken out of there, and we will start working on disassembling this motor and getting it down to the bare components. Easy way is there's a little cover back in here, a little rubber cover behind the starter. Yank that guy out, get your little wobble action going on here. Set it in reverse. Done. Just 3 bolts. Just like that. Let's get the other 2. I've used half a roll of paper towels today. These are really important. If you guys can make sure they don't go missing when you take this out, that'd be really great. Maybe this trans is pretty much jacked, but we'll be good. Put it back on there like I should have done. Alright, we got the torque converter bolts out. We got the transmission detached from the 3.7. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to spin this thing around so I can get it onto my engine stand. So the bolts that come out of the transmission aren't quite long enough to go into most engine stands. So I bought some 10 1.5 75 mil long, grade 8. Well, it's actually 8/8 metric, and this will go into the block through the engine stand. So let me get the flex plate out here, flywheel, whatever you want to call it, before I put it on the engine stand, just because it's going to be right in the middle of everything, and I should be able to get everything lined up. I think what I will do real quick is I'll paint mark this. Not that it matters a whole lot, but I'll just paint mark it anyway. Purple. Yeah, rear main was starting to fail, so that could have been a contributor to why this thing failed. So you want to bolt this on. I think I'm going to go up to these guys to get these spread better. But you don't want it to bolt it onto the oil pan because we're going to pull that off here in a little bit. So I'm going to re-rig this one. Ooh, that's sketchy. So I'm trying to be good and keep all my bolts labeled and in baggies here, even though I might not have all the pieces, but try to keep it at least somewhat together, so if it does end up being rebuildable, not just throwing it away, I can put it back together. But exhaust bolts and my bell housing bolts right there. That's a 9mm. What am I doing? Whoa. Oh yeah, sludgy. Like real sludgy. So maybe it's a goner after all. I guess we'll see. We'll tear it down some more. Day 2, we're going to take a look at the rest of this motor. Pizza. Breakfast of Champions. I think the only thing to do now is just to continue to tear the motor down and see just how bad it is. Some of the cams are a little worn, but I don't see any pitting. Kind of some skipping and whatnot. I don't know what that's all about. But there's no pitting, there's no galling or anything, so I'm hoping that everything's still good. Obviously it just needs a really, really, really solid clean. So no oil in the pan, so I'm going to flip this thing over and take the oil pan off, and then hopefully I can get the timing cover off and be able to pull the head, the timing chain and head, pull it off after that. So let's flip this thing over and pull the oil pan off. Not too bad. Well, that can't be good. You see that? That's like drill shavings. Need a magnet and see. So I've got no recollection of drilling anything steel on here, so I'm hoping that this isn't like a... Yikes. So something I know that'll absolutely preclude me from being able to resell this motor is if I break off one of these main bolts or some of the head bolts. So one of the videos I watched a while back said to use a brass drift and just shock load each one of these before you take them out. It can help shock the threads in there and hopefully get these to come out a little easier. So I don't have a breaker, but I've got my torque wrench here. Let's go easy on her. Probably need to get a new one. Probably because I've been using this as a damn breaker bar. pretty sure these are one-time use, so if this motor is salvageable, we'll have to get some new ones, but it doesn't hurt to mark them and baggy them proper. That one's pretty dark. And that one's kind of dark. And I wonder which rod died. Alright, let's get the front cover off. So this is a 5X reluctor from an 07 3.7. This motor is a 3.7 from 08. The 08 newer motors have a 4X reluctor that looks just like this, but it's only got 4 nubs. And so in order to make the newer motors, 08 to 12 motors, work in the 04 to 06 trucks, you need to add a cam sensor exactly where it's supposed to be. Then you got to get this 5X reluctor. So some of these caps are kind of sludgy, so I'm going to kind of try and blow them out. And that hit the roof. I'm going to hit every one of these probably twice with the brass drift and press your fingers. Ow. Probably break off the ratchet. Threading out, that's good. Didn't break it, holy crap. Alright, well, let's do the other 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 of them, 11 of them left. I told myself I was going to do that. God, I hate that noise. That is freaking scary. Well, that was the socket. Whoops. Alright, so once we get the top bolts, there's a couple more here in the front cover, those 10 mils. And then I'm just going to take the timing guides out as well while I'm here, because they're attached to the head, and I don't want to have them attached when I pull this out. So a Allen key in there. All right, let's get this thing out of here. Now we can take the bearing caps off, or main bearing cap, ribbing, whatever you want to call it. Kept the crank bolt for such an occasion. Put my socket on there. I'm going to pop these guys out. I just loosen these up. I'll make sure I don't drop this. There's a little bit of scarring in there, but it's definitely not that one. Yeah, that's not the one that died. That cap is significantly blacker than the rest of them. So that has me concerned. Yep, Cylinder number 5 has completely failed. Okay. Oh. This is a spun bearing. This guy right here is on top of the other bearing. There's supposed to be 2 half circles, and this guy is, they're nested right there. So what little bit of driving I did completely toasted those guys. It's pretty scored. I don't know if it's salvageable or not. Alright, let's get this guy out. Guess I broke skin when I smashed my hand into the block doing the head bolts. But so cylinder number 5, toast. Cylinder 4, cylinder 3 looked kind of crappy, and I think 1 and 2 looked okay. So I guess we were having all sorts of issues. So kids, change your oil. That's just a problem. That's something that I made the mistake of not changing often enough, apparently, and hopefully the crank is salvageable. We'll find out. Next episode, I will be taking it out completely. I will get ready for a kind of DIY hot tank. I got the stuff to do that, so check out that in the next episode. But for now, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I shared some knowledge and showed you guys how to do this. I need to be perfectly honest. These are the first 5 pistons I've ever pulled from a motor. Ever. 35 years old. I've owned a dozen or more vehicles. I've never taken an engine apart. I swapped this motor into the truck, and I put the head, took the head off of it, ported it, all that fun stuff. 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. But this is the first time I'm completely rebuilding a motor. So what's funny is I've never done a motor rebuild in my life. I'm now doing pretty much 3 in the next couple months. So pretty crazy. But I'm gonna get cleaned up. Shop's all a mess. I gotta be somewhere here in a little bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel. And let me know, did you like this content? Do you enjoy these episodes? And if you got any suggestions on what I can do better, or any suggestions on what topics I can cover while I'm doing this, let me know. Comment below. Appreciate it.